Welcome back, Twitch. My name is Memo Doring. On this stream, we're hatless. I wish I was wearing a cowboy hat to match AM and Gabe, but we're here to talk about Kinesis and Amazon Managed Streaming for Apache Kafka. We've got a bunch of our friends here, so I'll let them introduce themselves.
Sure. My name is Girish Sood, and I run product for Kinesis video streams.
Hi, my name is Damian Wiley. I lead product for Amazon Managed Streaming for Apache Kafka.
I'm Steve, a technical evangelist.
Hi, my name is Ryan Nienhuis. I'm a product manager for Amazon Kinesis.
Cool, so to get us started, let's talk about the new capabilities that you've launched.
Yeah, just recently we launched 2 new capabilities for Amazon MSK, which stands for Amazon Managed Streaming for Apache Kafka. The first capability is an open monitoring feature with Prometheus, and then the next feature is an integration with our fully managed Apache Flink service. But before we go to those integrations, I'd like to talk a little bit more about what Amazon MSK is. Amazon MSK, as the name suggests, is a fully managed service for Apache Kafka. It makes it easier for developers to build data streaming applications on Apache Kafka without having to worry about the underlying infrastructure. Amazon MSK takes care of that, so your teams can focus on what matters to your end business.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about what MSK is, but for those of our customers watching on Twitch or watching this later on YouTube, if someone's unfamiliar with streaming data, can you give us a few examples of what you would use that for?
Yeah, streaming data comes from a number of different sources, including IoT, websites, machines that are generating logs in real time. For example, you might have websites that are generating clicks, and those clicks are then transferred into a service like Kinesis or Amazon MSK, and those clicks end up generating streams of data, which then get captured and analyzed in real time by applications.
Cool, so kind of on a similar theme for viewers that are not familiar, can you explain briefly what Apache Kafka is?
Yeah, Apache Kafka is an open source framework for data streaming. It makes it easy for developers to build and capture, build pipelines that capture real-time data streaming, or real-time streaming data. And on top of these pipelines, developers build real-time applications where they can capture the data from those applications that are producing it and then analyze it in real time so that they can get insights from their data within milliseconds.
Okay, and so it seems like Apache Kafka is a really powerful tool. MSK is a really, really good way to do that, or use Apache Kafka. But what are some of the challenges around that? Like, what are the usual pitfalls or things you want to avoid?
When you run Apache Kafka on your own, say in EC2, you have to provision 2 clusters typically. You have to provision a cluster for Apache Kafka, and then you also have to provision a cluster for Apache Zookeeper. Not only, you also have to set up those clusters for dealing with any operational event that might occur, because if, for example, one of those nodes were to fail, it might result in an availability issue within the cluster. So when you set up those clusters, you have to instrument them with telemetry, capturing that telemetry, and also reacting to that telemetry with automation. And all of that is stuff that customers they no longer need to do with Amazon MSK. We solve all those problems by providing them with a fully managed service for Apache Kafka. We set it up with Apache Kafka's best practices, and then we deploy AWS best practices for infrastructure to those clusters.
Cool. So if I have existing data in a Kafka cluster, can I use that with MSK?
Yes. Amazon MSK is fully compatible with Apache Kafka, so it lets you run the same applications you otherwise would on premises or in EC2. It's also fully compatible with tools like Mirror Maker that lets you move data in and out of Apache Kafka.
Okay, so once we were up and running, and you got all these clusters, how can you monitor them, right? Like how can you check that everything's healthy and running like you want it to run?
Well, first when we announced Amazon MSK, we offer the capability built in for collection of metrics and delivery of those metrics directly to CloudWatch. So by default, you have a fully managed metrics experience surrounding your Apache Kafka cluster, so you don't have to build your own metric solution. Just recently, we announced a new feature that lets you gather metrics directly from MSK and deliver those metrics to a third-party provider like Datadog, Sumo Logic, Lenses, New Relic. And that's really important for customers who already have their own metrics pipelines in place. Say they're running on EC2 today, and they're using one of those third parties to monitor their clusters, and they want to continue using those third parties throughout a migration into Amazon MSK. So this feature bridges that gap for them and makes it easier for them to continue using their own metrics solutions while they use Amazon MSK.
And giving customers flexibility to do things how they want to do them, how they've been doing them, not forcing them into a single solution is always great. Like, people love that, right?
Yep, options are great for our customers, and that's why we have 2 different options for data streaming in AWS. That's Amazon MSK and Amazon Kinesis data streams.
Cool. So I heard that you launched an integration with Apache Flink. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, so hi again, my name's Ryan. So Apache Flink is an open source stream processing engine for processing data streams, whereas Amazon MSK helps collect that continuously generated high volume streaming data and make it available for processing. Apache Flink is focused on processing that data, deriving useful information about that data, typically with low latency in real time. So we have a fully managed service for running Apache Flink. That service is called Amazon Kinesis Data Analytics. And with this new feature, we're able to automatically integrate with a couple clicks on the console a Amazon Kinesis Data Analytics application built using Apache Flink to an Amazon MSK cluster, as well as any other Apache Kafka cluster running on EC2 within an Amazon VPC. So this feature was announced last week, and we're really excited about it.
Cool. And that's awesome. So Twitch, we have 20 pounds of content in a 10-pound bag. So we're going to pivot over to Girish real quick. But before we do that, any other thoughts, maybe something you really want to mention that we haven't covered yet, Ryan and Damien?
I think the one last thing that I'd cover is just, for those who are not familiar with streaming data, the types of use cases this enables is, we have customers like Autodesk that run cloud-based software as a service, that they do real-time log monitoring using the set of streaming solutions like Apache Flink and Amazon Kinesis Data Analytics. So just highlighting yet another use case before we move on to Girish.
All right. So let's turn to Girish then.
Great.
So what's happening in media streaming?
Well, we're seeing increasing number of camera-connected devices that are getting connected to the internet, and these devices generating a lot of media streams, which now need to get ingested into the cloud and then processed via machine learning algorithms, or even at times just for basic storage and playback. Customers struggle with operating and maintaining and building that large media infrastructure. Media is specific and very time-sensitive data, and media streaming is becoming more pervasive across different use cases as it pertains to IoT devices.
Okay.
So it sounds like customers need some help in this area. How is the company, how is AWS helping our customers do it a little bit easier?
So Kinesis Video Streams is a fully managed services for 3 core things for media streaming specifically. 1, ingesting media streams from these devices securely into the cloud. 2nd, once the media streams is ingested, store it, index it, and encrypt it. Finally, for consumption in either real-time or in batch mode, we provide APIs to get frame-by-frame information for either doing playback or processing that video through machine learning algorithms.
Yeah, and for live video streaming, I'm sure Twitch is quite familiar with that. So that's a quick use case right there, right?
Absolutely.
So you have an exciting new capability, right? WebRTC support.
Yes.
Can you tell us what that brings to customers?
So WebRTC is again a fully managed capability within Kinesis Video Streams. It's designed for live peer-to-peer media streaming with 2-way interactive capabilities. So from a camera-connected device, if you have a mobile player and you want to live stream that video and also exchange audio or arbitrary data with the device, WebRTC supports that as a fully managed capability.
Cool. So I'm a bit of a noob in this area. What is WebRTC?
Great. So WebRTC stands for Web Real-Time Communication. It's an open project which is meant for enabling browser, mobile, and IoT connected devices with real-time communication capabilities. It's not a single media protocol. It's a collection of 4 different things.
Got it.
First, signaling. Signaling is a way in which one peer signals to the other peer what my media capabilities are and what do we want to exchange, audio, video, and data. Once that trust is established between those two peers, then the connectivity process starts. And that connectivity, in most cases, is peer-to-peer. So if you're behind a NAT, you punch a hole through the NAT using technologies like stun or using turn relay, and then once these two devices are connected, the third thing comes in, which is media streaming or data streaming, which then these two devices, after they're connected, can exchange peer-to-peer. And finally, on top of it, WebRTC mandates encryption from end to end, so it includes a bunch of open source encryption technologies.
Cool.
And clearly, when you're streaming data, be it video or whatever, you want to make sure that's secure, in flight, once it's stored, all of that, right? Like you don't want anyone else having access to all those volumes of data that are moving really quickly.
Yeah. So can we talk a little bit about how Kinesis Video Stream supports WebRTC?
Sure. So we talked about the 4 fundamental capabilities around signaling, connectivity, streaming, and then encryption. Within the signaling process, WebRTC doesn't specify what the transport mechanism needs to be. It only specifies standards for what the message that you exchange for signaling needs to be. So Kinesis Video Streams, the first point, provides managed endpoints for signaling built over secure WebSockets. Second, it includes managed infrastructure for turn and stun. These technologies are used, one, for punching a hole through the NAT so that you can establish peer-to-peer connectivity. And secondly, sometimes peer-to-peer connectivity cannot be established. In those cases, the media is relayed via a cloud endpoint, which is called turn. Beyond the managed infrastructure, we provide open SDKs for IoT devices and mobile and web applications. The IoT devices is a unique take that Kinesis Video Streams has taken for hardware-constrained devices, and our SDK footprint is about 4 to 5 megabytes, which can run on extremely constrained hardware devices.
And that's awesome. I know Twitch loves to see things in action, so any chance we can get a quick demo right here?
Definitely. So we talked about signaling, so I've just created a signaling channel, which is AWS Launchpad. That's not Connie. I'm going to decide about sending audio, video, and a data channel here. I'm going to decide my resolution, and we talked about stun, turn, so I'm going to decide stun and turn because I'm behind a corporate network right now, so I might not be able to connect peer-to-peer.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use something called Trickle Ice, which helps me establish connectivity faster.
Perfect.
So this is my web application running on my laptop here. So let's go ahead and start my master. And here's my trusted Nexus phone. I'm going to go to a mobile application that we have built as a sample. I'm going to specify the same signaling channel that we used, the Launchpad. I'm not going to turn on my audio because it'll create feedback.
We don't want to ruin anyone's morning right here.
Right, and I'm going to connect here as a viewer.
And now we'll be live streaming on live streaming, so live streaming inception of some sort.
Yeah, that's some sort of inception going on, right?
And yeah, that's what we see. Hi.
And you can
Everyone
see
wave.
the latency here is extremely interactive. I'm going to wave my hand in front of it. And as you see, I'm waving my hand, it's going via the cloud, in this case, and showing up here in sub 1 second.
That's amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can also send like text messages, which will show up here. That's a demo for you.
That's awesome. So quick question. So how does WebRTC streaming in KVS differ from HTTPS streaming in KVS?
That's a good question. So they are two different technologies. As I said, WebRTC is meant for live streaming, whereas our HTTPS streaming capabilities are designed for getting data from devices to the cloud, and then once data hits the cloud endpoints, it's meant for consuming that data. So these two technologies, even though offer different capabilities, they're complementary to each other.
Awesome.
All right. So we've got a couple of minutes left. What parting advice would you like to give to customers?
Again, as I said, media streaming is difficult. It's a combination and a jumble of multiple 3-letter and 4-letter acronyms that you're going to hear all the time. So Kinesis Video Streams, the aim is to make all of that simple, where you don't have to worry about managing, building, operating the infrastructure required for that. And we provide access to all of those media streaming capabilities via simple APIs, and you focus on creating interesting customer experiences.
Cool.
So we still have a couple more minutes left. Twitch, if you have any questions, please let us know. We're talking about streaming with both Kinesis and Apache Kafka and the different offerings from Amazon. I would love to get a quick recap of what we said so far from Ryan. If anyone joined a little bit late, we can just kind of wrap that up real quick, and if any questions come up, we'll catch those at the end.
Yep. Sure. First, we started out with a couple of our data streaming services, providing overviews of what Apache Kafka is and what our fully managed service for running Apache Kafka is, Amazon Managed Streaming for Apache Kafka. There's a couple new features that we launched with that. One is an open monitoring solution that allows you to send information to give you visibility about your Apache Kafka clusters to where you need it to be. The second feature that we talked about was an integration with a fully managed Apache Flink service, Amazon Kinesis Data Analytics, to combine both stream data capture and storage with stream data processing to enable use cases like driving real-time dashboards or deriving business metrics or operational metrics in real time.
Fantastic. So Twitch is really, really impressed with the latency of the video that we showed, the live video on live video. I think that was an incredible use of a demo. I really want to thank you all for being here, for sharing all this knowledge with us. I'm going to drop a link in chat in a second for people to get started, but I really want to say how much we appreciate your time and sharing all this knowledge with us. Keep it right here, Twitch. I'll be right back in a minute talking about another really exciting launch. We'll see you then.
Bye.